Okay? The topic for tonight is called Does Judaism Need Saving? By the end of the talk, that will not be the topic. There's a better title for it, but I don't want to give it away because I want to come to it together with you. I want to take a journey with you. And that journey is going to begin with a very simple question that we must ask. It was Rosh Chodesh today. Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av. And the name of the month sort of is ironic because we know that an Av means a father. And when we think of fathers, we think of Rachmanis, we think of mercy. And yet, what is Av known for? It's known for sadness. It's known for tragedy. It's known for destruction. How do we understand the name of Menachem Av? How can we understand that? And I'm going to speak about something that I had mentioned at the Ornava Shabbaton, but we're going to get a lot deeper than we did over there. And the concept is as follows. We are living in a day and age where we try to get excited about our Judaism. We come to Shiur, a weekday night. Here you all are, 9 o'clock at night. We are involved with Chesed. We try to bring up our children. We try to teach them to go on the right path. And yet, we're not blind to the reality that as people are coming back to Judaism, there is another door that says exit on top that have many people leaving their Judaism. People that are grown up, Orthodox, religious. What's going on? Are we doing something wrong? And if it is, what is it? Maybe we should be plugging that hole. Right now, when we look at the news, it's already, we're numb to it, but there's a hole in the bottom of the ocean. And out of that hole is coming black goo, black oil. Oil that used to be a blessing is now becoming a curse. And that hole needs plugging up. And our hole needs plugging up as well. What's going on? Let's be honest. What's going on? What is it about Judaism that we are giving our children that's not working? And what is it that we have to give ourselves to ensure that Judaism will continue and thrive and last? So here is the concept. The concept is as follows. I was sitting amongst a group of college students, non-religious, and I asked them, tell me how many people are proud here to be Jewish. And they all raised their hand. They were proud. I was happy to see that. And then I asked them a very simple question. And the question is, can you define what Judaism is? What is Judaism? And a lot of people raised their hands. And the answers ranged from a way of life, a culture. The answer most frequently given was Judaism is a religion. And if you look in the encyclopedia or Wikipedia, you will find that among the religions of the world, you'll find Judaism and Christianity and Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism. It's another religion. What is shocking is that if you look in the entire Torah, you will never find that it's called a religion. Now, if Moshe Rabbeinu was introducing the Jews to a way of life that was a religion, I would expect it to say so in the Torah many times. As a matter of fact, if you look at other religions of the world, they unabashedly call themselves a religion. As a matter of fact, if a person wants to convert to Islam, one of the lines that they would have to repeat 5 times is, there's no religion like Islam. They call themselves a religion. Christianity calls itself the religion of love, the religion of brotherhood. It's all religion. So where is the word religion in Tanakh? It's conspicuously absent. The truth of the matter is, it is mentioned once. It's mentioned not by a Jew, but it's mentioned by Haman. And Haman says, V'daseihem shonos. They're just a different religion. And one of the ideas behind what Haman was trying to say is, don't worry about them, they're just a religion. Don't be so impressed by them, don't be so bowled over. But they're different. They're different than the rest of you. But they're just a religion. Judaism is not a religion. And it is one of the great mistakes, one of the great errors that we have made. And when we call ourselves a religion, eventually we are opening the exit door for people to leave. What is it if it is not a religion? So here is the saying that I'm going to give you, and I'm going to say it again and again tonight. And the reason I'm going to repeat it again and again is because when you come home, I want you to repeat it again and again. And I want you to tell your kids, and I want you to tell your friends. Judaism is not a religion, it's a relationship. Judaism is not a religion, it's a relationship. How many times is Judaism called a relationship in the Torah? Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of times. That's right. If one looks deeply in the Torah, one will see that Hashem tried again and again to tell his children, stop saying religion, I'm not interested. I want a relationship. B'ni b'chari Yisrael, my son, my firstborn. Yeled Shashuim, the child of my delight. Mashkech min hachalonos, meitzis min hacharakim, kol doide hinei yezevagopek. The voice of my beloved Elul is coming up. Ani l'doide v'doide I'm to my beloved. Relationship, again and again and again. Not religion, relationship. Now, what is the difference between religion and relationship? The answer is they are not even remotely comparable. Let me give you an example of what religion is. Thank God, Baruch Hashem, I have 11 children. And that means that we went through 11 childbirths. We went, Baruch Hashem, to the hospital 11 times. So I'm now going to reveal to you a guy's secret. Now, I could be hunted down for this, so I'm not sure if this should be on Torah anytime, but I'm going to tell you a secret that you're not supposed to know as women. Here is the guy's secret. When you are having a baby, at the end of the 9th month, and you turn to your husbands and you say, you know what? I think it's time. It's time. We got to go to the hospital. It's time. I feel the contractions. I got to go. So your husband will break into a great big smile. And you'll look at him and you'll say, oh, that's so nice. He's right there with me. He's going to experience it with me. It's so nice. So here's the secret. That's not really why he's smiling. Okay, I'm going to tell you why guys are really smiling. When the wife says, it is time to go to the hospital, the guy smiles, the husband smiles, because he knows he can get into the car, turn on the ignition, slam on the gas, and go 100 miles an hour through red lights. Yes, that's really why we smile. Yes! Here we go, baby time! I bought a Chrysler 300 Hemi special for the occasion. My wife said, time for babies. Yes, let's go. I'll get out of the car because what's going to happen? If we don't get stopped, great. And if we do get stopped, what do we tell the police? Having a baby. You want to deliver the baby in the back seat? No one wants to. No cop wants to deliver a baby. So what happens? You get a police escort. It's also a good deal, right? So we get away scot-free because the laws of the state are like religion. They're do's, they're don'ts, and if you could prove why it doesn't apply to you, why you should get away with it, you do. Right? That doesn't resonate with me. I'm not feeling it. I'm not emotionally connecting. Right? That's religion. Relationship is quite the opposite. If you always feel in a relationship, how can I get out of things? What kind of relationship are you in? A very dysfunctional one. Maybe one on the rocks. Relationships work the opposite way. I always try to think, what more can I do to make this relationship work? So, when I get up in the middle of the night and my wife sees me getting up, so she says, oh, can you get me a drink? So I could just, fill up a cup of water for her. But if I really am in a relationship with her, if I really love her, what am I going to ask her? What kind of drink? Who said that? Who said that? Okay, what kind of, let's play the game, okay? What kind of drink do you want? So I said, okay, how about some soda? What? What flavor? Oh, thank you for asking. Cola. On ice with it? Oh, thank you. What? Lemon? Okay, good. We're getting soon, right? That's relationship. The one thing you can't ask is diet. You want diet, honey? It really tastes the same way. It's really, don't worry about it, yeah. Right? Crackers in bed? Right? So when you're in a relationship, you go the extra mile because that's what love means. If the kind of Judaism that we give our children is religion, they're 1 foot out the door. If it's a relationship, it will last and grow. Now, there's many, many, many beautiful facets to this. Let me explain to you a few of them. When Hashem said to the Jewish people, "Do you want my Torah?" So what did the Jewish people answer? Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will listen. We will do what you said, we will listen. So Hashem said, who taught my children this secret that the very angels use? Who taught them this? What was the secret? That they said, we will listen, we will do, and we will listen. They didn't say, we will listen and we will do. What's the grand difference between if they said, we will do and we will listen, or we will listen and we'll do? What's the great difference between reversing that order? You know what the difference is? It's completely different. If they said, we will listen and we will do, nishma v'naseh, that's religion. Nishma, I will listen, I'll see, does it make sense to me? Does it resonate with me? Am I feeling it? If so, then na'aseh. That's not what they said. They said the opposite. They said, na'aseh v'nishma, I will do and I will listen. I will do and I will listen. That's the formula of a relationship. It's not that they flipped it. It's they understood it's not religion, it's relationship. When my wife says to me, honey, can you do me a favor? Do I say, well, let's hear. Let me nishma v'naseh. Let me hear. Does it make sense? Does it resonate with me? Or do I say, sure, of course I'll do it. What do you want? Right? Relationship is nasa v'nishma. The great secret was that the Jewish people understood that one can have a relationship with the Almighty. That's a great secret. Other religions don't believe that. They believe you need an intermediary. You need a go-between. That's what Avodah Zarah is, a go-between. Says Hashem, no! I want to have a relationship with you. You and me, together forever. Say Baruch Atah Hashem, second person. Baruch Atah, blessed are you and I. Hashem says, I want one thing from you. Every single day I want you to say the Shema. And what do we say in the Shema? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, Hashem is the only one. There's only one. Only one for us. It says in the Gemara that Hashem has tefillin that have his version of Shema. What does it say in Hashem's tefillin? It says, not Shema Yisrael, it says these words. Umi ka'amcha Yisrael, goy echad ba'aretz. And who is like my nation Israel, the most singular nation on earth? So here we are. We say, Shema Yisrael, no one like you. And Hashem says, no one like you. No one like you. No one like you. I love you. Right? It's an ultimate relationship. And that's why Hashem says, I want you to say something twice a day. You know what you're going to say twice a day? Ve'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha. All I want you to say is that we're going to be in love forever. Ve'ahavta. Could you imagine a religion that says, I want you, just be in love. Be sincere about that love. Be sincere about that love. You want to have a relationship? We could last forever. And if you look very carefully in the way Hashem structured Judaism, you will see relationship replete throughout Judaism. Think to yourselves for a moment. What is the holiest country on earth? Israel. No question about it. What's the holiest city in Israel? The holiest place in Yerushalayim. The Dodo or the Temple Mount. The Beis HaMikdash, Har HaBayis. In Har HaBayis, in the Temple Mount, what was the holiest place in the Beis HaMikdash? Kodesh Kodesh, the Holy of Holies. And what was the holiest spot in the Holy of Holies? Between the two keruvim. And you know what were the keruvim? These gold cherubites? these gold figurines. What were they? They were two figurines that had wings, and it says in the Medrash, one had the face of a male, and one had the face of a female, and they stared into each other's eyes with love. That's right. The holiest country, the holiest city, the holiest place, the holiest city in Kodesh Kodashim. What do you find right there? Stick a needle through the center of the earth, you'll find love. And that's why it says in Chazal, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not happy with us, how did he show it? What happened to the Kruvim? They turned away. Like the silent treatment. Not speaking to you. Not speaking. Could it be more obvious? It can't. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, just be close to me. Just focus. Have a relationship with me. I'll tell you a story. There was this lady, and she's waiting for her lover to come home. She's waiting. Her lover was away for many weeks, and tonight he's supposed to come home. So she's waiting, and finally she says, you know what, I'm getting so tired. My lover's supposed to come, but I don't know when he's coming exactly. I'm going to lie down. It's getting late. So she takes off her slippers, she takes off her nightgown, and she goes underneath the covers, and she cuddles up, and she's all cozy, and she begins to drift off. And a few minutes later, hello, I'm home. And she hears the voice of her lover, but she thinks to herself, I'm so comfortable underneath the covers, and I took off my nightgown. How am I going to put it back on again? I took off my slippers. I'm going to get my feet dirty. And he keeps knocking, hello? Hello? Are you there? Hello? She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm too comfortable. And then suddenly, the knocking stops. And she's lying there in the silence and the darkness. And then she thinks to herself, what am I, crazy? I didn't get up. My lover was here, and I just let him knock. So she jumps out of bed. She puts on her slippers. She puts on her nightgown. She runs, swings open the door wide, but he's long gone. So now she begins to panic. And she runs, and she begins to run through the street, screaming his name, calling his name. And the night watchman, he sees this crazy lady running outside in her nightgown and slippers, and he says to her, are you okay? Are you crazy? Should I call a doctor? Should I call the police? She says, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care. All I know is that I may have just missed the opportunity to connect to the one that I love, and I couldn't possibly bear that. What Harlequin romance did I just quote? That's Shir HaShirim. That was Torah. Does that sound like a religion? It's the deepest relationship. Rabbi Akiva calls Shir HaShirim Kodesh Kodashim, the Holy of Holies. Why is it called the Holy of Holies? Because in the Holy of Holies, sat the Kruvim that showed love. There's so much love going on in Judaism. It screams it. Let's go through a few of the mitzvahs and see if we could decipher this. I want to tell you something. When the internet came out, the computers, so I got myself a laptop. And like many guys, boys and toys, I had my computer and I'm all excited. Wow, you can get this information and that. It's really, really convenient. And my wife comes in the room and she's speaking to me and I'm answering to her while staring at the screen. And finally, after a few minutes, a few times coming in, she says, do me a favor. When I come in the room and I'm trying to speak with you, shut the laptop. Shut the laptop. Don't focus on me. Or we used to go out to eat. We still go out to eat. And I've got my cell phone. And people are calling and I'm answering. And finally she says, you're taking me out to eat. You're trying to connect with me. Do me a favor. Shut the cell phone. We're trying to connect here. You know what that is? That's Shabbat. That's Shabbos. Hashem says, you're so busy all week long. You have your work and you have your school. I get it. But come Shabbos, it's about me. Close the laptop. Turn off the phone. Let's celebrate together. Put out a white tablecloth. Light some candles. Pour some wine. Let's have a romantic dinner together. What do you think the candles and wine are all about? Let's sing. Let's dance together. Stand up and say, L'chadodi, boi chala, come my bride. No, how beautiful it is when you have an older couple and the husband introduces his wife. Oh, meet my bride. We're married 7 years, but she's still my bride. Boi chala, come my bride, my queen. I missed you. I was so busy all week doing my thing. I had to. But each day I waited to connect with you, to have our special time together. Every day I'd say, Hayom Yom Rishon l'Shabbos, Hayom Yom Sheni l'Shabbos. I can't wait for Shabbos to come. I can't wait for our special time together. Shabbos is all about connecting. It's all about relationship. And if you look deeply at the Shabbos, you see it. Think about it a moment. Do you know that the laws of Shabbos, the laws of Shabbat, come from the fact that they would build the Mishkan, and there is a pasuk, a verse right before building the Mishkan that says, you should keep my Shabbos. And we see from there that keeping Shabbos overrides the Mishkan. Now you stop and think about it and say, why? Mishkan, isn't that an important thing? Karbanos, Yom Kippur, Kodesh HaKodashim. Shabbos overrides that? How do we understand that? So I'll tell you a little story. This father comes home, at the end of the day, he was late. Every day he works very hard. And his wife is waiting there by the door. And she is angry. And he looks at her and says, hello. And she says, where were you today? He says, what do you mean? I'm in my office. Yes, I know that. But don't you know today was Billy's soccer championship? You said, you promised him you would come. And he kept looking up in the middle of the game. Kept looking up at your empty seat. Where were you? So instead of understanding, he gets all upset. And he says, what do you mean, where was I? I was making a living. You see this beautiful home you live in? You see these curtains and the chandeliers and this and that? Somebody's got to pay for it. That's me. What are you yelling at me for? I'm just trying to give you what you want. So she says back, do you think this is what I want? You think I need the curtains and the chandeliers? I would much rather live in a small little apartment and have a present father and a present husband. I don't need the chandeliers and the curtains without having you at my side, without having you for the children. Says Hashem, I love the fact that you're building my Mishkan. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing, but not at the price of us connecting. Shabbos is our special time, right? Build me the house, but don't give up that special time. That's what we need to connect. Do you understand? If you look at every mitzvah and you start looking at it through the glasses of relationship, all of a sudden, it's going to be so joyous. All of a sudden, there won't be a burden. If it's a burden, and it's do's and don'ts. Oh no, now Shabbos is coming and I can't use my cell phone and I can't work. So then of course, that's why children are resented. That's why people are resented. But if they look at it like connecting, if they look at it like, look, I'm so busy, but I need and I want Hashem in my life. So therefore, I'm going to make the sacrifices, but they're not really sacrifices. What I'm really going to do is I'm going to allow the situation to be that I'm able to connect to Hashem without anything getting in the way. And the computer will get in the way, and Malacha will get in the way, and instead, it'll be us, Kodesh LaHashem. Everything that I'm going to do is to connect to Hashem. And it's not just Shabbos, look at other mitzvahs. You know, someone once said to me, Rabbi, I'm a bad Jew. I said, look, I don't call people bad Jews. But why would you even call yourself that? Well, I am a bad Jew because I only go to services in the high holidays, like once or twice a year. I said, look, I don't judge people, but I do want to tell you something. I don't think you're in a relationship. Because what kind of relationship checks in once a year? Hey, how's it going? Catch you next to same place, right? That's not a relationship. What's a relationship? You know what a relationship is? Relationship is you wake up in the morning and you say hello, how are you? You bring each other coffee, you eat breakfast together, you connect. Sometime in the day, you touch base, how is it going, dear? How are the kids? Can I bring you home some flowers, some milk, some... And then in the evening you come together, you sit, you have dinner, you're able to connect, you enjoy some time together 3 times a day. Shachris Mincha Maariv. Relationships connect 3 times a day, so we tell Hashem, we're going to connect 3 times a day. Someone said to me, Rabbi, I understand that, but we're saying the same thing again and again and again and again. I said, what's the problem with that? He said, I don't know, it's just boring. I said, you're clearly not married, and he wasn't. I said, because if you are, I want to tell you a little secret. when we, as married folk, and I'm married now 22 years, Baruch Hashem, at 22 years of marriage, when we hang up the phone, right before we hang up, what do we say? I love you. That's right. Goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, I love you. Goodbye. But now that's one time. But then if you speak 10 times during the day, every single time, goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, I love you. Right? And then times that by 365 days, minus Shabbos and Yom Tov. Times that by 22 years, that you have to let the movie camera has to fast forward. Goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. I don't necessarily think about it every single time. Sorry if my wife is watching this. Yeah, I try. But that's how it is. As a matter of fact, one of the first things that get dropped, and remember not to drop this when you're in a relationship, one of the first things that get dropped is the word I. Think about it. Goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, I love you. And then it doesn't slow you down because it becomes sort of like a saying, like LMNOP. Goodbye, I love you. So the word I actually has the effect of slowing you down. Goodbye, comma, I love you. So never drop the I. Remember you heard that here. Goodbye, I love you. Not goodbye, I love you. So, but honestly, I don't really think about it each and every time because sometimes I'm busy and it's just. I'll even tell you, I once had a boss who was a woman, and she was a pretty strong woman, and sort of like a little general, and I would take my working orders from her, and it was the end of a phone conversation, and she said, "You'll do this, and you'll do that, and you'll do that." I said, I got it. I said, "Okay, got it. Goodbye, I love you." "Oh, no, I don't." "Yes, I do, but not like that." I tell you, the next time we met was very awkward. It was really bad. Although I think she began treating me better. I don't know. Anyways, so we should just stop. We should just stop. Why do we keep saying "I love you" if we don't think about it? The answer is because maybe every time I don't think about it, but once in a while, a few times a week, when life is slowed down, and I'm on the phone, and I tell my wife about my day, or she's telling me about hers, and I finish up, and I say goodbye, I love you, and I thought about it. And for those times during the week when it's slowed down, it's all worth it. We don't drop it. Davening is the same way. Yeah, maybe each and every day you daven really quick, and you say Yerufeinu Hashem, but then Chas Hashem, you hear about a friend or Chas Hashem, a relative who has cancer, and now you say Yerufeinu Hashem, and suddenly it means something completely different. Hashem, we need a healing. I'm not just going to daven it up, as they say. Or I say Atachonim again and again. I'm not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I have a job interview. Hashem, Atachonim L'Adam Das. Hashem, you give wisdom. Help me. Don't let me put my foot in my mouth. I need that godly wisdom. Please help me. And for those times when it's applicable, when those times come and I feel it, it's worthwhile to always do it. That's relationship. So many mitzvahs are touching on a relationship. A person said to me, "Listen, Rabbi, I don't know, but I have to drive to shul on Shabbat. Because, that's how I feel connected to God. And I live far away, and I'm afraid if I'm not going to drive, I'm just not going to end up in shul." So I said, I understand that sentiment. I really do. I understand. You want to feel connected? But that's not relationship either. Real relationships don't work like that. So I'll explain it to you. I'm walking out. I'm going out. I want to pick up something in Pathmark. And my wife says, "Oh, you're going out. Do me a favor. Pick up some milk." I just poured cereal, and I realized I forgot to check if we have milk. We have no more milk. I say, "Sure." So I come to Pathmark, and as I'm walking in the door, the sliding doors, I walk in, and there I notice flowers. They do this in Pathmark and Shabbat. There's a big bouquet of flowers right when you walk in, or right when you leave. They just want to make you feel guilty. You should be buying flowers for somebody, right? So they're flowers. So I look at them. My wife's name is Shoshana. So "Oh, it's so nice. I'll buy roses." And I go and I buy a beautiful bouquet, a dozen roses. I come home. She opens the door and I say, "Ta-da! These are for you because I love you." She says, oh, thank you so much. And she smells it, makes a big production. Then she says to me, that's great. Can I ask you, did you pick up the milk? And I said, well, actually, I didn't bring my credit card. I only had cash, and I didn't have money for both, so I bought you the flowers. So she says, I really appreciate the flowers, but, my cereal here is crying out for some milk. I really need some milk for the cereal. If I really cared about her, I would do what she wants, because relationships are a two-way street. To say, I feel connected to Hashem, driving to Shul on Shabbos, which is exactly what Hashem does not want, is a one-way relationship. That's not the way real relationships work. Understand? Just very profound how it works. Do you know how there are certain mitzvahs that we have that when we look at the mitzvahs, we wonder, why is that so? Even gzeras. There's a gzera, it's the Rabbanan, that we're not supposed to eat chicken and milk. Now, why? What's the matter? I understand meat and milk because it says, Lo savashel gedi b'chalev imo, don't cook a kid in its mother's milk. And according to Torah Shabbat, that means don't eat meat and milk together. But chickens can't even give milk. Did you ever try to milk a little chicken? No, there's nothing to milk. So why can you not eat chicken and milk? You hear the question? Why not chicken and milk? The answer is relationship again. Think about it for a moment. I decided to go jogging every morning. This is just a mushal, it didn't really happen. Okay? I decided to go jogging, beginning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go jogging. That's it. So, first day, I wake up on time, I put on my shoes, and I've got those Velcro sneakers. Velcro, it makes a big loud ripping noise. And I put on my sneakers, and I close it, I rip it open and close it, and my wife wakes up at the start. It's a very loud ripping noise, and she's a light sleeper. And I feel very bad, because once she wakes up, she's not going to fall back asleep. So I feel very bad. What am I going to do the next day? Provided I continue to jog. What am I going to do? What? I can get new sneakers. I can put the shoes on outside the room. Right? What's the one thing I'm not going to do? I'm not going to do the same thing and hope for a different result. Hey, I'll try to do the Velcro in a quieter way. No! Because if you really, really love somebody, then you can't afford an oops. Does that equation work for you? If you love somebody, then you set things up that you won't have an oops. Because you love them enough to not want to make a mistake even by accident. You don't want to just say, well, I tried my best. You want to make sure that she doesn't wake up. You try to care. Well, the reason we don't eat chicken and milk is because it's possible that chicken and meat are sometimes prepared in a similar way. And when you look at the two, they look alike. You can look at a turkey frank, a chicken frank, a beef frank. You can look at stir fry, you don't know if it's chicken or meat. And maybe once that I think I'm eating chicken, and really it's meat, and I'm going to end up eating it with milk, and then I'm going to be over out there in the Torah. And because once in a while it could happen, I can't afford an oops. Because I'm in love with Hashem. And when you're in love, you can't afford an oops. We understand how it works. I'll give you another example of a relationship. Do you know that we have 2 days of Yom Tov? Now, in Eretz Israel, Pesach, for example, they have 1 Seder. We have 2 Sedarim. And we have 2 days at the end of Yom Tov. Why do we have 2 and they have 1? The answer is, historically speaking, that the way that a new month was declared, where there were witnesses who would come to the Beis HaMikdash, and they would witness that they saw the new moon. And after they witnessed that, then they would declare it's a new month, and then the word would get out. And by the time the word got out in the diaspora, sometimes it got out really late, and they weren't sure when was the new month. Was it Sunday or Monday? Was it Monday or Tuesday? And because of that, it could be they'll end up eating chametz on Pesach. There are all sorts of dangers to it. Therefore, in the diaspora, we kept 2 days of Yom Tov because we just simply weren't sure what day is Yom Tov. The problem with that is today we are sure. Today we know what day is Yom Tov. Right? Hillel came and he created a calendar, and it's the calendar that we use, and we know exactly what day is Yom Tov. So why do we still have 2 days of Yom Tov? If we know exactly what days are Yom Tov today, we should be just like Eretz Israel. We should have one day at the beginning, one day at the end. Why do we have 2 days? Okay, so here's going to be the answer. Again, we're going to relationship. A little story. A man and a woman, they are in Las Vegas. And they're there at the craps table, and they're playing, and they're both on a really hot winning streak. And in the middle of the game, they were strangers, they didn't know each other. In the middle of the game, their eyes met and locked. And it was love at first sight. And they're not Jewish couple, just a regular couple. And they were so excited about it that they decided, you know what? Let's be reckless. Let's be stupid. Let's get married. Love at first sight. Do you believe in it? Yes. Do you believe in it? Yes. Let's go. So they went to Elvis's wedding chapel, and they're going to be married out by Elvis. And there you have it. In the middle of the night, this couple that met simply a few hours ago did the reckless and the absurd thing, and they got married. Well, most of these marriages don't last very long, do they? But this one was different. There was actually some chemistry there. And they worked on their marriage, and it was a real marriage. Well, it was the end of the very first year of marriage, and the wife says, you know what? It's going to be amazing. Our anniversary is coming up Tuesday. And he says, no, not Tuesday, it was on Monday. So she says, no, it was Tuesday, it was after midnight. Because no, it was before midnight. Well, let's call up the chapel and find out when our anniversary is. They try to call up, and the chapel had burnt down. And the records were with it. So now they didn't know, did they get married before midnight or after midnight? So they came up with a wonderful solution. They are going to have 2 days of anniversary. What an amazing thing. They're going to have a 2-day anniversary, which is great because then it's not just a dinner, but then you can go overnight somewhere. A beautiful 2-day anniversary. Very beautiful, very unique. And for 10 years, they celebrated their 2-day anniversary every year. Very exciting. Well, one day, husband is at home, the wife's not home yet, and all of a sudden, a piece of mail arrives, and he opens it up, and it turns out it's from the Department of Records in Nevada. Someone had found the hard drive from the computer, had deciphered it, had read the code, and was able to read when people got married, what the dates were. And sure enough, they had gotten married after midnight. They had gotten married on Tuesday, not on Monday. Well, that year, the wife comes home, and the husband is there. The wife comes home, and he sees the husband sitting there, and the husband is sitting there in his undershirt on the couch with the remote in his hand. So she says to her husband, what are you doing? Tonight's our anniversary, our 2-day anniversary. He goes, no, it's not a 2-day anniversary anymore. Now that the mail came from Nevada, we know that we got married on Tuesday, not on Monday, so we're having a 1-day anniversary. So she says, no! We have a beautiful thing going. We have a tradition, a 2-day anniversary. Just because we know shouldn't change anything. We should keep on enjoying our 2-day anniversary. This is what we tell Hashem. We tell Hashem, yes, it's true. Yes, we do know. Now we know that exactly what their Rosh Chodesh is. But we have had the pleasure of having 2 Siddharim. We've had the pleasure of having 2 days of Shavuos. We do not want to give that up. Our connection to Hashem is so beautiful. We want to celebrate our 2-day anniversary. The only way to understand it is through a relationship. There is no other way to understand it. Are you beginning to feel what I'm saying here? Mitzvah after mitzvah after mitzvah is all about relationships. Even the Beis HaMikdash. In the Beis HaMikdash, what did they bring? Karbanos. So, what's the translation for the word karban? Sacrifice. But that's not really what it means. As a matter of fact, that's a bad word. Bad. I shouldn't use the word sacrifice. What does the word karban come from? Which Hebrew word? Karav. What does karav mean? Close or relationship. How do you say a relative in Hebrew? a karov, a relay, right? Why is it that we don't bring karbanos anymore? No Beis HaMikdash, but how do we understand it in terms of relationship? So I got another story for you. Like tonight's the night of stories. And this story has a man, and he comes home, the husband, he comes home with flowers for Shabbat. And he gives it to his wife, and his wife loves them, and she smells them. Thank you so much. And little Chaim is watching his mother make a big production out of the flowers that Abba gave her. So he runs outside, and he picks some dandelions, and he comes running in and says, "Here, Ima, this is for you." And right away she understands what's going on. He must have seen Abba brought the flowers, and he wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to make Ima happy. So what does he do? Well, what does she do? She does the same thing that she did for Abba. She picks the dandelion, she smells them. "Oh, delicious! Thank you so much, Chaim." And he's all basking, he's all smiling. And she takes a cup, she puts a little tin foil around it, and she puts the dandelions in the cup right next to Abba's flowers. And each week, Abba would bring home flowers, and Chaim would bring home flowers. It was such a beautiful thing. One day, it's on Friday afternoon, Chaim is playing baseball, and all of a sudden he remembers, forgot to bring Ima her flowers. So he runs out, he tells the people who he's playing with, "Fellas, hold on 1 minute, I'll be right back." And he sticks his hand to the ground, and he grabs a handful of, dirt, grass, a few dandelions. He runs inside, throws the whole thing on the dining table. "Here, Ima, this is for you." And he runs out. And the mother's looking at the table, at the dirt, the grass, the weeds, the dandelions. And she shakes her head sadly, and she brushes it into the wastebasket. The magic was gone. The love was gone. Ima never needed those flowers. She was doing it for Chaim. Hashem never needed the karbanos. He doesn't need us to kill sheep. He made the sheep. We wanted to show Hashem that we love Him. We wanted to give Hashem something. And us, in our very humanistic, childlike way, are able to say, "Here, God, take a sheep. Here, take a goat." And Hashem says, "Oh, so sweet, they want to connect." But you know what happened? We stopped caring. We thought, now I got to give away a sheep. I don't want to give away my sheep. Now I got to give away goats. I don't want. So Hashem says, don't do me any favors. I don't need you to kill a sheep. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not karov anymore. It's not relationship. If it's not relationship, I'm not interested. One mitzvah after the next, again and again, is all about relationship. Now, the Jewish people, when they left the desert, they had a tough time with this. That's why Hashem gave them test after test. Hashem said, if we're going to be in a relationship, you have to learn to trust me. And therefore, I'll give you man for one day, but not for the next day. Trust me. Trust is a key component of a relationship. But I'm going to have that relationship with you, and you're going to have it with me. And if we can have a relationship, if we could really feel it, then our kids won't be running towards the exit. We won't feel like, oh no, Yom Kippur's coming up. Oh no, Pesach cleaning is coming up. I don't want to do that. Instead of say, yes, I can't wait for Shabbos. I can't wait for Yom Tov. I can't wait to connect to Hashem. My life only has meaning when I'm connected. I'm madly in love with the one above. If we can say that, then our Judaism will be dynamic and it will be exciting and our children will see it. Look, I'll tell you something interesting. There are 3 ways of connecting to Hashem. The 3 ways of connecting, 3 primary ways, is through a father figure, that's Avinu, through a king, Malkeinu, and then there is the lover relationship, which is the Kodesh HaKadosh, like the Ahuvenu. Each relationship has its advantage. The advantage of a father-son relationship or of a parent-child relationship is the advantage of Avinu. We have that connection with Hashem, and that is Shachris. Shachris, we connect to Hashem through the parent relationship. I'm sorry. Shachris is the king relationship. The king relationship is Baal HaKochos Kulam. Hashem can do everything. Hashem is all-powerful. And in the morning when I wake up, and I need siyata d'shmaya, I need help. I need Hashem to help me in my business, to help me in my schoolwork, to help me in my relationships. I need that. I need friends in high places. And therefore, I relate to Hashem with the Malkeinu, with the king. And that's why Shachris is connected the king. Mariv, which is darkness, which is a scary time. It's when things, it represents when things are more difficult in our lives. That is the parent relationship. That's Avinu Avarachman. I need mercy. Hashem, help me when times are tough. What is the afternoon? The afternoon is the lover relationship. The afternoon is the lover because I need nothing. It's unconditional. I love you unconditionally. And therefore, it's not the morning when I need extra help. It's not the evening when I need extra mercy. I'm just picking up the phone to say, hey, I miss you. I hope you're having a glorious day. That's why that's mincha. And that's why it says in the Gemara, it was mincha. It was the mincha that Eliyahu Hanavi davened that had him answered against the Nevi'ei Baal. You know why? Because he said, Kano kinesi lelokim. I was jealous for you, Hashem. Jealousy is the character trait of a lover. Correct? So therefore, Eliyahu was answered because he related to Hashem as a lover. It's Tfilas Mincha. And Eliyahu was Pinchas. And Pinchas said, Tachas asher kinei lelokav. Again, that jealousy of a lover. So there's a song that we sing on Shabbos. The song is Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman. It's a very interesting thing about the song because if you pay close attention, the first words speak about relationship. And it covers the three relationships. Relationship number one is Yedid Nefesh. That's the lover relationship. Of Harachaman, the parent-child relationship. Mashoch Avdecha, that's Eved Melech, that's the king relationship. Right away, boom, 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 three relationships. And then it goes on to explain those relationships. I'll tell you something interesting. This is, again, my own, maybe it's an Ashkenazi speaking, but there are lots of zmiros for Shabbos that don't really have such beautiful tunes. You know, it's not so easy to find a nice tune from my Yedidus, or Baruch Hashem Yom Yom, or, you know, certain zmiros have nice tunes. Certain ones really tough. That's some nice Yom Zemachubads. There's one niggin, there's one zener that every tune that's ever been made up is beautiful. And that's the Yedid Nefesh. You ever heard of Yedid Nefesh that's not gorgeous? I think that's on purpose. Because Yedid Nefesh is the connection of a lover. Look at the words of Yedid Nefesh. Listen carefully and tell me whether this is a religion or a relationship. Listen to these words. Hadur Noeh Ziva Olam. Beautiful, pleasant one, shine of the whole world. Us speaking to Hashem. Beautiful, pleasant one. Nafshi cholas avosecha. My soul is lovesick for you. Hashem, I love you so much, I'm sick in love with you. I feel it in the pit of my stomach. I don't know what to do with myself. When I leave this shir tonight, then I'm so in love. What am I going to do? Should I do tzedakah? Should I do more chesed? What should I do? Nafshi cholas avosecha. I'm so in love with you. I'm sick in love. Ana kelna rifana la. Please Hashem, cure me of that love sickness. By showing me the beauty of your countenance. Show me you'll always be there with me. Show me when times are tough, you've got my back. Show me you'll hold on to my hand when I don't know what's going to be with shidduchim, when I don't know what's going to be with parnasa, when there's sickness in the family. If I don't know where to turn, I'm lost. But if I know you're at my side, then then it will give me strength. I will become strong. And I'll be cured of my love sickness. And only then will I have everlasting happiness. If I know that you and I are in love, if I know I'm in a relationship and not religion, then I can go through a brick wall for you. But if I feel that things are not going well, then I'm lost. Do you know why this month is Av? It says in the Ritva, that our mazel is not bad in Av. We simply are cast into mazel. Usually Hashem takes us out of mazel. Hashem says, Jewish people, you're mine. Don't worry about the mazel. You're not going to be left to chance. The tragedy of Av is we're thrown to mazel. We're left to blow in the wind. We're getting the silent treatment. Says Hashem, you're getting the silent treatment because you didn't want to have a relationship. What is the antidote for that? It's Av. Remember, I will be there for you. I will be there with you forever. And if you stop and think about it, it's a strange thing. Tisha B'Av comes out the very night that the Jewish people cried after the Meraglim came back. The Meraglim, the spies, came back and they said, listen, the land is bad, you're going to be destroyed. So the Jewish people cried, right? Why did you take us out of Mitzrayim to be destroyed? So Hashem says, you cried a cry of nothing. I will give you a bechia l'doros. I will give you crying forever. If you stop and think about that, it's very strange. It sounds very vindictive, actually. Hey, you cry, it's like a parent. Hey, you cry for nothing? I'll give you what to cry about. Is that what Hashem is saying? Is that what Hashem is saying? That's not what Hashem is saying. Hashem is not saying, hey, you cry for nothing, watch, now I'll give you what to cry about. No, Hashem is saying, you're making a big mistake because I have a relationship with you. And in a relationship, there's nothing that tugs at the heart more than tears. So don't waste those tears. Your tears are valuable. Whenever there's going to be a tragedy, I'm going to make it fall out of Av. You know why? Because I want you to remember that you can get out of that tragedy by remembering a relationship. You cried for nothing, but I'm going to teach you that your tears can move me. The gates of tears are always open. Shaarey, it's always open. So don't worry about it. When things happen bad, cry to me, speak to me. I will listen. I can't help myself because I'm in a relationship with you. It's a very profound idea. You must go home and teach everyone you know, not religion, relationship. Next time you have to fill out a form in case they ask you religion and they leave a blank, just write N-A, not applicable. No religion, it's relationship. I'm going to finish off with a story. And I tell this story because sometimes in a relationship, we don't understand how close Hashem can be to us and how He's looking and moving those pieces if we simply had some emunah, some trust that that relationship can weather any storm. A few years ago, we had a fire in the house. Now, we had just bought the house a year before. We had moved from California. So, a fire in the house is really tough. As a matter of fact, I was in Texas when my wife called me. I picked up the phone, and her first words to me were, hello? I said, yes? Oh, Shani, how are you? She goes, listen, I just have a question for you. Does Hashem love us very much? I said, yeah. Yeah, why? Because no, there's one more question. Is everything that Hashem does for the best? And I said, yes, definitely. Now you're scaring me. You know, my wife is a God-fearing woman. What's the issue? She says, okay, I just wanted to let you know, I'm sitting on our front lawn with the children. They're all safe, but our house is burning down. 1,000,001 thoughts race through the mind. Okay, Baruch Hashem, everyone is safe. Now, what about my stuff? What about the house? What about the insurance? What about my sparring? What? And then you think, oh no, this is going to be a long ordeal in order to rebuild. And it took us a year. We were a little bit in gullus for the year. Hashem had a plan for us. Many wonderful things happened. when we ended up moved to a different community, and we made wonderful connections. Those connections have borne many fruit. But one of the things that happened after the fire was we decided that we are going to build a unique house. And it's going to be a house that we can make big Shabbos. We wanted to have lots of people over for Shabbat. And there's a limit to what you can fit in a regular dining room. So we sat down with the architect and we built a very, 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 very large dining room. The dining room is probably at least the size of this room. Oh yeah, the picture. We built a very large dining room. The dining room, we custom made a table. It's a unique dining room table, and it can hold 62 people, just the table alone. So, and that's what we did. And after we moved back, we were able to start having Shabbat. So we had about 60 people this past Shabbat. We'll probably have this week. And each week we have anywhere from 40 to 80 people. We could always add a table. And that's what we did with the house. Baruch Hashem, I married an insane tzedek who is willing to cook for everyone 3 meals over Shabbos. And by the way, you're all invited for Shabbos. It's a real offer, not a Hollywood invite. Okay? Not on. Good. We definitely are invited. So what we were thinking was like this: we should make a minyan in the house, and it'll be a beautiful minyan. We could do like a Kabbalah minyan, and we'll have people who are not that religious, and they can come and they can enjoy Shabbat at our house, and it'll be like a beginner service, and it could be a wonderful thing. So we began doing a minyan at the house, and people would come and they dance around and they just have an amazing time. Then we thought to ourselves, you know what? Once we're doing a service at night, the Kabbalah minyan, let's do it in the day as well. Now the problem is, if you do a minyan in the day, you need to have a Torah. And we didn't have a Torah because we had just built the house. We had no money for a Torah. So what do? So I couldn't afford a Torah. A Torah is going to be a minimum of $35,000 and then upwards of that. So we had no money for it. So what I did was, I went to Craigslist. And I put in the words, Torah, Jewish, Judaism, Torah. Yeah, who knows? You never know, Craigslist. Well, one day I put in Torah into Craigslist, and I found an ad. And the ad read, for sale, authentic Jewish Torah, 11 inches high, 200 years old. I think, no, that's got to be a mistake. You're not gonna find on Craigslist a miniature 200-year-old Torah. You don't have much money that's worth, let alone the Kedusha. That's a valuable collectible. So I called up the fellow and I said, okay, what's the deal with this? I said, is it a real Torah? He's definitely real. I said, because, that's a small size. Very, very rare to find a Torah that size. The scribes and so forth, they don't like to make small Torahs. So he says, yeah, definitely real. I said, okay, I would love to see it. Well, he said, well, I live in Philadelphia. And I said, well, I live in Muncie, New York. He said, that's okay, I'll drive it up to your house. I said, really? Driving from Philadelphia? I said, great, but I'm not going to promise that I'll buy it. He said, no, don't worry, no promises. I have time on Sunday. I'm happy to drive it to your house. So the following Sunday, about 10 o'clock in the morning, this beat-up old Dodge pulls up in front of our house, and out of the Dodge walks this fellow, no yarmulke, sort of an overweight fellow. He's holding a blanket. I said, oh, okay, come on in, welcome, come in. I presume that's the Torah in the blanket? Yes, great. We take the blanket and we put it on the dining room table. We open up the blanket, and there right away I can see it is a real Torah. Now I was concerned because they do sell paper Torahs that are 11 inches tall. You can go to the Svarim store or bookstore and they'll sell them. But this was clearly a Torah made out of cloth. Now it did not have a cover, so it was just had a belt on it. But I figured I'm going to open it up, and it's going to be in terrible condition because Torahs, the letters begin to crack and fade. We open up the belt, and I look at the Torah, and it's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's beautiful. So now I'm getting very excited, but I don't really want to show him how excited I'm getting because I want him to jack up the price. So I got to play this cool. So I said, okay, nice, but where'd you get it from? He said, well, actually, my father was a rabbi in the Catskills, and he had a synagogue. And this was one of the Torahs that was in the synagogue. Eventually, he got old and he passed on, and the synagogue ended up closing down. They auctioned off everything in the synagogue, and I kept this Torah for myself. So I said to him, listen, do you know what I would do if I had a Torah like this? If I had this Torah, I would have bar mitzvahs in the house. I would have people, they would get aliyahs. They haven't had aliyah since their bar mitzvah. They would hug it, they would kiss it, they would dance with it. I just began to wax poetic. I just had this dreaming in my mind, wow, we could have such a Torah. So he looks at me for a moment, and then I could see there are tears forming in his eyes. And he said, you know, I wish I had met someone like you growing up. I said, why? He says, well, you see, I was very young when my father passed away. And I had a lot of questions about my Judaism. And even when my father was alive, he was a Holocaust survivor, like we didn't really connect. Eventually, I went off to college. I met this beautiful girl. She was Buddhist. I married her. And I'm a practicing Buddhist today. And for 50 years, this Torah is sitting in our closet. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at him, such rachmanis. Here's a fellow, he was a yosam at a young age. The father was a rabbi, the father was a survivor. And here you have a Torah sitting in his closet for 50 years. Suddenly he looks at me and says, I got it. I just realized. This is your Torah. You have to have it. I said, for free? He said, yes, for free. I think the Torah belongs in your home. I think you're going to do great things with it. I said, thank you? He's just waiting for the catch. He goes, don't thank me. It's yours. Have a good day. And he leaves the house, goes back into his Dodge, drives back to Philly, leaving me with this priceless 200-year-old miniature Torah. Amazing. So now that I have this Torah, now I need an ark. I need an Aron Kodesh. Now the problem is, most Aron Kodesh are like that. They're 5-6 feet tall, or 7 feet, or even larger, and you can't put a tiny 11-inch Torah in a 7-foot Aron Kodesh. It looks ridiculous. Plus, you can't even find it. Hey, where's the Torah? It's right there. Right there. So you really need a miniature ark, a miniature Aron Kodesh for the miniature Torah. So a year before, I actually bought my son one of these paper Torahs, and I built for him a miniature ark. So the first thing I did is I tried to steal it back, but he wouldn't allow. So for a while, my priceless 200-year-old Torah sat next to his little paper Torah with peace and harmony, no fighting, and they just sat there in this makeshift Aron Kodesh. But I really wanted to find something respectable for it. One day I am looking on eBay, and I'm checking out Judaism, Torah, and suddenly I see an ad. The ad reads, "For sale, Jewish Christian piece of furniture." And I'm thinking, I don't even know what does that look like, a Jewish Christian piece of furniture. So I look at a picture, there, and to me, this is what it looked like. It looked like an Aron Kodesh. It had doors, it had pillars, it was all hand engraved in wood. As a matter of fact, it was gorgeous, and it was an antique. The only thing that was peculiar about this miniature ark was on top of it, culminated in a gigantic gold crucifix, a big gold cross. So I'm thinking, one of these things do not belong, and it's got to be this cross. I call up the people who are making the auction, and I said to them, listen, can I ask you something? Where did you get this piece of furniture from? So they said, listen, we're a company in South Carolina, and our job is to liquidate estates from people who pass away with no children. And this particular piece of furniture belonged to a priest who passed away with no children that anyone knows of. So therefore, all you have left is this piece of furniture, and we decided to sell it. We liquidated it. So I said to them, look, this may look like a Christian artifact, but it is clearly Jewish. Do me a favor, I said to them. Check the wood of the cross, check the wood of the ark, and tell me if the wood matches. So they came back a minute later and they said, it does not match. They said, the ark, or this piece of furniture is well over 100 years old, and the cross is maybe 20 years old. So I said, that's it. This was an Aron Kodesh. That was built by some Yiddilah 100 years ago with his blood, sweat, and tears. Somehow it was taken hostage by a priest, and he slapped a cross on it. So I said to them, I'm buying it. What do you want to end the auction? So we made up end of the auction. I'm about to hang up the phone, and I noticed that at the bottom of this piece of furniture, there's a little plaque. So I said to them, do me a favor, send me a photo of that plaque. Because in my heart of hearts, I was a little bit nervous. Maybe this is a Christian piece of furniture, and I just don't recognize what it is, because I don't know all Christian artifacts. I don't know what it looks like. So they sent me a little photo of the plaque. And right when I saw it, my heart skipped a beat. It said in the plaque, in Hebrew, the following words. Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Behold, the God of Israel never sleeps and he never slumbers. And I'm thinking, how remarkable is this? Here you have a Aron Kodesh. Here you have an ark that was made 100 years ago by some Yiddilah. And it was taken by this priest hostage. And this Aron Kodesh is going to have in it a Torah that was sitting in this Buddhist Jew's house for the past 50 years. And all of that, the Buddhist Torah in the Christian ark, is all going to be used to bring Jews back to Judaism. Behold, the God of Israel, he never sleeps and he never slumbers. He has an amazing plan for us, and he moves those pieces around. We were very excited to get this ark. And the day that it arrived, my kids came running out, the little truck came. We ripped open the crate. We took the Torah, a little bit nervous. Maybe it would be too big, or even worse, too small, and the Torah wouldn't fit. It was hard to tell based on the picture. We took the Torah, and we put it in. It was like Cinderella's slipper. Like perfect. So happy. It was wonderful. We took it and we put it in our dining room. It's fantastic. A few hours later, we get a phone call. This lady calls us up and she says, let me ask you something, you're Rabbi Klatzko. I hear that you have a lot of guests for Shabbat and holidays. Well, Sukkot is coming, and there is a girl, and she needs a place for Sukkot. She comes from a terrible family. She's been abused. She's been neglected physically, emotionally. We have to find her another home. But for Sukkot, she has no place. Can she stay by you? And I said, of course she can stay by us. Of course. She comes in the house a little while later, this girl. And right when I saw her, I said, oh yeah, we made a mistake. Because she comes in, and the baseball cap is covering her eyes. She's sort of shuffling in. She's not speaking to anyone, very antisocial. Really, and I'm thinking, oh no. I work with college students. I'm not a therapist. What do I have to offer a girl like this? Well, the first night of Sukkot, it was even tougher. She sat in the sukkah. And she sat all the way in the corner. She didn't say a word to anyone. She's got this piece of plastic silverware that she's chewing on the corner. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be, wow, 8 days of this. It's like a cold wind blowing throughout the house, and wherever she walks, not speaking to anyone. It's tough. Something miraculous happened. As Sukkot passed, each and every day, this girl began to open up. More and more and more and more. First playing with the children, then she moves in with my wife, and eventually myself. She had such an amazing time that she stayed after Sukkot, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday. She had become part of our family. I called the lady who had sent it to us, and I said, you have to tell me what happened. we didn't do anything. It's like a miracle. What happened to this girl? She opened up, she blossomed, no one could have expected it. So this lady said, I know what happened. I'll tell you what happened. She said, apparently, the first night of Sukkot, you told a story to all of your guests in the Sukkah about a Torah and an Ark, an Aron Kodesh, that you had just gotten in your home. Well, that night, that first night of Sukkot, this girl waited for everyone to go to sleep in your house. She waited for the family to go to sleep. She waited for the guests to retire to their quarters. And when the house was silent, at 1, 2 in the morning, she comes down to the dining room. She sits down in front of the Aron Kodesh. She opens up the doors. She puts her face in this Aron Kodesh, and she begins to sob. And she begins to cry. And she says, you Torah that didn't have a home for so many years. You Torah that no one understood that you had any value. No one understood what your worth was. You were not loved. You were not accepted. You were not hugged and you were not kissed. And you are in Kodesh, sitting there in the priest's house, and he didn't realize how much value you had. He didn't realize that you too had an amazing holy purpose. And you were not loved. And you were not respected. And somehow, Hashem made it that this Torah and you are in Kodesh, should find a home. And should find a family that will love it and take care of it and appreciate it and accept it. So why can't I find a home? Why can't I find a family that will understand that I too have some value? That I too have some worth? Why can't I find a family that will love me and maybe even hug me and kiss me every once in a while? Would that be so bad? And each and every night, this girl would walk down the stairs after everyone was asleep, and she would open up the door of the Aron Kodesh, and she'd stick her face in, and she would cry, and she would sob, and she would connect. And she was saying, Hashem, you are everyone's father. Be my father as well. Take care of me as well. And it had this amazing cathartic effect on her. She felt connected, and she felt she had a home. A week later, she did find a home, a place, a school. She began going. And she sent us an email. A few weeks later, and in the email she writes, you know, I miss your family. I miss the ambiance. I miss the food. I miss the kids. I miss it all. But she writes more than anything else, I miss my Torah. I miss my Torah. She had bonded. She had connected. The connector was the Torah. Until this day, the Torah sits in our dining room. And this Shabbos, 2 young, well, not so young, 20-year-old Russian boys who were in Rutgers had a bar mitzvah in our dining room. Just the Shabbos. We said, did you ever have an aliyah? No, never. So I said, wait a moment. And we went running to the kitchen to scramble and find some candy to throw. We made a mistake. We found chocolate lentils, forgetting that when they get stepped on, they're really tough to clean up. So we took that one, we just showered it, actually with one. We didn't even realize we had a second one. And we danced and we sang. And during Sudash, Lashit, Shalashiddas, they got up and they gave a bar mitzvah talk. Connecting. Hashem wants us back. Hashem is our Av. So my blessing to each and every one of you is this month, the month of Chodesh Av, instead of thinking, oh no, you can't cut hair, oh no, we can't listen to music, oh no, we can't eat meat, oh no. So you know what? Hashem is just trying to sensitize us. Care. It should bother you that the Beis HaMikdash is no longer around. My house is not there. You can't bring korbanos. You can't connect to me the way you used to. Don't you want to connect? Don't you want to connect? And we should tell Hashem, of course we want. We want nothing more than that. With you, we can walk through walls. We can run through walls. Without you, we're lost. Thank you very much.